Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Rec and Rule. This is Brian talking to you today, and we're going to talk about a topic that has popped up a few times within the Facebook group. We've also noticed a few of you guys leaving comments on some of our videos asking us to talk about it. The topic that we're going to hit today is going to be the concept of building a community for Transformers, the trading card game, in your local area. This is going to be part one of a multi-part series. Next time we talk about this, we will probably talk about what to do once you start to kind of have a fairly regular group of players who continue to show up, and how to build that momentum and keep that momentum moving forward. So to begin with, let me talk to you guys about my credentials here. Why I have any type of authority to sit here and talk to you guys as if I know what I'm talking about. About 5 years back, the X-Wing miniatures game had been out for a brief amount of time, and locally in our area it had died down. I had just found out about it, I had just gotten into it, so obviously I wanted to play it. And there were no stores nearby that were really running it. So I realized that to kind of get things going, I had to be the one who started that ball rolling. So I began to contact some of the local stores. I began to reach out and recruit players. I began to give demos. As of right now, our local area is one of the largest and one of the most well-organized X-Wing areas in, at the very least, the United States. We have over 800 players connected via social media. We have over a dozen stores within a 2-hour drive that are all running events, and they're coordinating those events with each other so that they do not overlap. We recently had kind of like a big local tournament. FFG, the company that produces the game, they sent us pretty much close to $800 worth of really kind of like limited organized play type of prizes to give out. I was shocked when I opened up the package and saw what they'd sent us. It was pretty incredible. And we've done similar things for other games in the area. Destiny, we have a pretty big crowd. It's in a weird spot right now in terms of being in between sets and things like that. But you know, our Destiny group, when new sets do come out, also is pretty strong. And we've done this also for a few other games as well. So to kind of get this ball rolling here, step number one, the very first thing that you need to do is you have to talk to your FLGS. If you are brand new to gaming, that stands for Friendly Local Gaming Store. You have to go, you have to talk to them about the game, because first of all, they might not even know that it exists. There hasn't necessarily been like a ton of promotion or fanfare about the game, and there have been a few of the few people in the Facebook group who are either employees of game stores or they own the game store who've said that they believe that this is a little bit more of like a test run, or they're marketing this first wave at the very least more towards the big box type of stores like Target, Walmart, GameStop, places like that. So first of all, go to your FLGS. They might not have the game in stock. They might not even know about it. Talk to them about the game. I also recommend that rather than like sending them a message on Facebook or emailing them, that you actually show up. Try to show up at a time where there's not a ton of stuff going on. The owner or the manager maybe has a little bit of free time to talk to you about some stuff. Tell them about the game. Make them aware of it. Tell them what would be involved in terms of ordering product. So they want to get a couple of starters. They want to get a booster box or two early on. Keep in mind that a lot of game stores sort of like, they're not operating with, you know, huge budgets. They're not making huge profits. So that the test the waters on a new game can be a little bit of a risk for them. So you have to show them that it would be worth their while, at least even if it's only dipping their toe in just a little bit. Step two is going to involve you also starting to buy your product there. There's not really any good reason for that store to run events there or give you space to play there if you're buying all of your stuff online and then rolling in with, you know, $300 worth of cards that you've spent at various online stores looking to play there. Start buying your stuff there. An easy way to start with that is the Metroplex deck, which is coming out mid-November. Pre-order there. It should be within their system. Your store hopefully should be set up to be able to take pre-orders for products that are not quite out yet. At the very least, begin step number 1, order Metroplex there. Buy sleeves there. None of this is going to like bring in huge profits, but it shows that you are willing to spend your money at your local gaming store. And therefore, they should also scratch your back by giving you space, giving you resources to have events there. My other suggestion is, a lot of us out there already have a ton of stuff from Wave 1. Most of us probably don't need much else from Wave 1. My other advice is, whenever Wave 2 does come out, at the very least, pre-order 1 box there. And my other bit of advice is, we all know that you can save $10, $20 by buying this stuff, from the different online gaming stores or from gaming stores on eBay that sell it for super cheap because they don't really hold the product there. They just kind of get it in, they ship it out. My advice to you is stop looking at it as, you can save $10 here, you can save $20 there. You also don't necessarily need to get all of it in one shot. If you have a store that is regularly running events and that is giving out packs for prize support, then you are much more likely to start to get some of your stuff there. Some of the cards that you're looking to get, you'll get from your game store. Maybe not right away off the bat, but you have the benefit of A, getting your cards in that type of manner, and then B, by having a community built up where you are able to play the game while you're there. Buy sleeves there, buy top loaders there. The top loaders for this game for the characters are a strange size, so talk to them about which ones you would like them to order for you. They might not stock them on the shelves because it's a very kind of like specific product, and chances are that there's not many other games out there that will use that size top loader. But your store should be able to special order product for you, and then it'll show up in a couple of days when they get in their next shipment of items from their distributor. Step 3 is volunteer to run the events there, and this point here is going to tie into what we talk about next year. Store employees, first of all, they're not going to know the rules of the game. They're not going to be super into the game unless they themselves are a fan of the game. I know we have in the Facebook group, there are a number of store owners or employees who are really enjoying the game, so obviously they're going to be a lot more engaged with it. However, most stores and most of the people who work there are not going to be TFTCG players. Volunteer that if they give you the space, if they give you the opportunity to run events there, that you will actually run the event. You will you'll give pairings. You will serve as a judge if there's a question about rules. Volunteer to run the events there. Going in with that, organized play. This has been kind of a hot topic in the Facebook group for about the past week, and if we're really honest, since the moment WotC announced the game. As of right now, there is no official WotC support for organized play. I'm not a Magic player, so I don't quite know how they do OP type stuff for Magic. However, I've played Destiny, I've played X-Wing, I know how FFG does it, where they like to offer alternate art cards as prize support, both for participation where everybody who plays gets one, but then top finishers, there might be maybe in the OP kit or pack that they give to you, there might only be 3 of those cards to give out to top 2, and then 1 to the TO, to the tournament organizer, where they have special acrylic damage tokens or status tokens, whatever it might be. I believe I believe that they do a similar type of system where when you get an OP kit from them, they have a playmat or 2 in there. They have some for top finishers, they've got some alt art cards, but they also have a participation alt art card. It'd be fantastic if WotC does something like that. However, at the moment, we have no indication that they're going to. Hopefully they see the value in the game, and I believe that they've taken a few steps so far, including you guys see John interacting with us a lot in the Facebook group. Stuff like that shows us that they are seeing, hopefully, the value in continuing to put effort into TFTCG. However, you have to realize that as of right now, that if you want to get a community going at your store, you have to put in the work to make that happen. The store itself, it doesn't make a lot of sense for the store to put in a ton of work promoting the game or running events there. A lot of gaming stores are not operating with huge profits, as we said earlier, to kind of keep the lights on, to be able to pay their rent for their location, to be able to pay their employees' wages. They have to kind of like really focus on the games that are bringing money in. In a lot of cases, that game is going to be Magic. So for them, it makes more sense to promote Magic events, to run Magic events, to put effort into buying and selling singles for Magic. So something like Transformers is not going to be a huge profit maker for them. However, if you show your local store that you will be the one who will put in that work, that you will try to recruit players in there, that you will run the events there, that you will give demos for the game, there is not really any type of downside for the store in having you do that. So go to them, tell them that you will do all of these things. The only thing that they really need to do in this circumstance is give you space to play and give you time to run events there. So again, if you want to build a community, this is something that very much needs to be organized and run by the players, not organized and run by WotC, not organized and run by your local gaming store. Because at the very least, we're going to see how WotC, how they decide to take the game, but your gaming store, they have to focus on other things just to kind of keep the store operating. Step 4 is set a dedicated day or night each week to be able to play. By looking online, by looking at the people who are interacting in the Facebook group, the audience for this game does seem to skew a little bit older. So that makes things a little bit tricky in terms of scheduling like a set day, because when you are in your 30s or 40s, when you have a career, when you have a family, when you have a mortgage you have to pay, when you have to make car payments, it's a little bit tricky to say, yes, I'll be there every single week at this time on that day. But at the same time, you want to be consistent. You want people to know that if they show up on that night, that there will be people playing. Locally, Joe and I, we're doing events at our local store, All the King's Men in Pittman, New Jersey. We're doing things on Wednesday nights. And people know that if they show up on a Wednesday, at the very, very least, at least Joe and I will be there to play games. And then what we've been telling people is that if we hit at least 4 people who show up, that we'll do like a very casual round-robin type of tournament there. Or, if we get 8 people, we'll do a Swiss tournament, whatever it might be. We are also starting to dabble into doing like a little bit larger weekend type of event. So we just did one this past Friday. We're looking to do one this coming Saturday. Maybe try to do that once or twice a month to kind of get things going there. But also related to this, try to get the store to help you to advertise. So have them make an event on their store Facebook page. Have them post about it on their Facebook page. That very bare minimum, which involves them basically just like doing a couple of clicks, good to go, will help to get some more eyes aware of the fact that this game is out there and that there are people locally who are playing it. Step number 5 is going to be to create a Facebook group for your area. So what I'd recommend is make sure that the words that you put into that title for your group are easy to find and that they make sense for your area. So for us, Joe and I, and on top of that we have Scott Landis, who's doing Vector Sigma. We have Vin, who's Random Thoughts. He's doing like Twitch style podcast between him and Scott. Like, we're all in this area. What I recommend that you guys do is make the keywords easily searchable. So in our area, we don't call ourselves New Jersey, we are South Jersey. Philadelphia is, also our metro area, so we kind of use that as well. If you guys notice, I've got Transformers trading card game right there. This way people search, they find it. I'll be honest, I should probably also add TCG at the end of that, because some people, when they search for it, they're not searching trading card game, they're shortening it down to the acronym of TCG. So that is also something that is worth thinking about as well. You also want to be able to just give them like a couple quick keywords. If you're in a store, you're doing a demo, someone is looking at the product on the shelves, just tell them, hey, look, go to Facebook, search South Jersey Transformers card game. Boom, it'll pop up for you. So you want to make it easy to find and easy to kind of spout off as well. The benefit to having a Facebook group is A, it gives you a spot to advertise when you are doing game nights or if you're doing tournaments. And then B, it also gives you a spot for players to get together and talk about the game. The biggest thing is that you have to build this into being a community. So yes, you want it to be focused on the game, but you also want the people who are in that community to enjoy getting together and hanging out. Within like, you know, our Wreck and Rule stuff we have going on, like Joe, Frenchie, you guys heard us talk about Pete, you've heard us talk about our buddy Cody. Like, these are all people that I play games with, but these are also people that I consider to be my friends as well outside of the game. So you want to build that community. That is the key to get people to keep coming out each week when there are probably other things that they could be doing, playing video games, spending time with their family, sleeping, etc. Step number 6 is going to be to advertise your group or your event in related gaming groups. When we first started to notice that this Transformers TCG was coming out, I started to look at some of the other gaming groups in my area. Now, luckily, I tend to take charge of stuff, so these are all groups that I am an admin or moderator in, so I didn't have to ask permission. But if you are not in some type of leadership position there, you may want to ask the admin or moderator or whoever for that group if it's okay to post there about it. But like, you know, I posted in our local Destiny group. Joe, Frenchie, Cody, Pete, and I, like, we are all people that also were playing Destiny. So we have recruited a few Destiny folks into the game as well. Look into other, like, there might just be general gaming groups out there. For me locally, there's like a NJ Gamer type of group. There's South Jersey, Philadelphia Board Game Alliance. There are areas like that, or groups like that, that you can cross promote in to try to get some people out there. Step 7. The other benefit to this game is that, you know, it has that built-in Transformers audience as well. So locally for us, there was a Philly Transformers collectors group, had a couple hundred people in there. So I also, like, early on was promoting our release event there to try to draw some of those people in. So use that. Look, see if you have anything like that. If you don't, there are Transformers specific websites out there. In my opinion, I think TFW 2005, they are one of the best ones. So TFW2005.com. They have a whole big giant message board system set up, forum set up, where you can find like a specific group for your area. Post about it there. You've got people who are Transformers fans. Some of them have experience playing card games. See if you can get some people, recruit from that area. Every single person you get helps you, because it helps that momentum build and kind of continue to build. Step 8, look for other social media venues to advertise on. So I've not done this a lot yet with Transformers, but I did this back when I was building up our X-Wing group. So a great area to look into is meetup.com. Meetup.com kind of facilitates people to meet up for very specific interest. There are a lot of groups out there dedicated to gaming. Chances are, wherever you live, if you look on Meetup and you look in your area, there are probably tabletop gaming groups out there that you can also start to advertise in to pull a few more people in. Step 9, and this is the toughest part, is once you've got this kind of this groundwork out there, is to just keep on doing it. So show up every week. If you have a friend who's playing the game, like you and your friend, just go out there, start playing games. Keep on advertising. Keep on like posting in different areas. Keep on having the store that you're playing at, posting about how there are people who get together every Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever it might be to get together to play that game. You might have some weeks where it is only you there. You might have some weeks where it's only you and one other person there. There are some weeks where it might be you and 2 other people there. Just kind of stick it out. Again, for X-Wing, early on, like, I'm a teacher. I brought papers with me to grade. If there was someone that was there to play with, great. I played games. I gave demos. However, if nobody showed up that night for it, if it was a slow night, I was sitting there grading papers. Bring something with you to keep you busy just in case, but do not give up. You might have weeks on end where nothing happens, but then, one person shows up. And then from there, it can very quickly cascade from 2 people playing to having 4 people playing, to having 6 people, to having 8 people, and so on, so on, so on. But again, like, this is the toughest thing, is you are going to have to really stick through this phase here where you just keep on pushing and keep on trying. Another idea related to this is, see if you can, when you are there at the store as you're playing, other people will come over, they'll get nosy, they'll ask what you're doing. See if you can recruit them. Destiny players, pull them in. The game is in kind of a slow spot right now between sets being released. Miniatures gamers, a lot of them will have that nostalgia for Transformers. Magic gamers, some of them who are maybe not feeling how Magic is going right now, or who are reluctant to keep on dropping all that money to be able to stay competitive, you might be able to pull them into Transformers. Or if they're looking for a side game to play other than just Magic, you might be able to pull them in there. Step 10 is, once you do have some buzz building, once you've got some people who want to play, consider doing some type of beginner event or tournament, very casual type of tournament, right? So what we did that worked out really well for our area was we allowed people to bring their starter, right? And then we also had them buy 6-packs. And the store where we play at, they did a promotion where if you had nothing so far, you could get a starter, you could get 6-packs, it cost you $35. Or if you already had a starter, it was $25 for those 6-packs. And then along with that, like, each entry also got you, there were some packs that we added in for prize support, and that was included in that price. But then what we had people do was, they cracked these things open, and then depending on what they pulled out, we had them build a 25-point team and a 40-card deck from what they pulled out there. It was a lot of fun. We didn't really have anybody like pulling anything crazy overpowered, but it was awesome to kind of have everybody get together and crack that stuff open and then start playing with it. That is a little bit more of like an investment to getting in. I know that WotC has some league guidelines where you don't have to buy quite as much. But again, this game does skew a little bit older for its audience, so it can maybe drop a little bit more disposable income in that type of area. Another thing I want to recommend that you guys do is have a couple of demo decks ready and also be willing to give cards out to people. So my 2 demo decks are Ramjet, Starscream, and a Flame War as one. And then the other deck I have is Common Bumblebee, Cup, and I'm blanking out now. I apologize. Common Bumblebee, Cup, and Slag. There we go. So the idea is, if somebody is a little bit more used to tabletop gaming, I'll give them the Decepticon deck, because we've got some more keywords, we've got some rules text out here on those cards. It's a slightly, like, little tiny bit more complicated. For someone that is not as used to gaming, I'll give them the Autobot deck, because in that case, both Cup and Slag have no rules text whatsoever, so it's a little bit less to keep track of for someone who is brand new to the game. And on top of that, for each of them, for each deck that I built, every single card in there is a common. It's a little bit less complicated, but it gives them a taste for the game. Be willing to give demos to people, and then after the demo, like, especially if they're willing to go drop $15 on a starter to kind of, get their feet wet a little bit, throw some extra common characters at them. This way they have some, they can sort of play a little bit with some different teams by having those common cards. Let's be honest, you guys have, a stack of 30 ramjets there that are not going to do anything for you. You've got 15 barrages laying at home. Just have them ready to pass out to people just so that they can start, playing with it a little bit. It's going to be it for today's episode. In a couple of weeks, or maybe in about a month, we'll talk a little bit about how once you do start to get some people coming out, and once you do have people showing up regularly, what you can do to keep them coming out, especially because, we get Metroplex in November, but we're not sure exactly when we'll be seeing Wave 2. So how do you keep things fresh once, it's 2 months into the game, 3 months into the game, and we're still working with a kind of limited card pool? We're going to talk about that on the next episode. Something that I want you guys to do, if you are interested, is Joe and I, we just started up a Facebook page for Wreck and Rule. In the description to the video, we'll have a link to put out there. Join it. If you guys have any questions about what we talked about today, like if you have any ideas you want to add to this, then please put it in the comments down below. Or if you have questions, like if you don't know, if you have more specific questions for what you can do for your area, ask us on our Facebook page here. We'll be happy to answer questions or throw ideas out there at you. In a couple of weeks, we're also looking to do a couple of like giveaway contest type of things. We'll have some details about that. Also, make sure that you are on the Transformers Trading Card Game Facebook group, which is kind of so far the biggest avenue to talk to people. We've got over 2,000 people there now. I want to also advise you guys to check out vectorsigma.info, which is a website that is run by Scott, who is one of our local players in our area. Scott has done a lot of really, really great analysis. He's got 3 or 4 episodes up now where articles up now where he is talking about some deck builds, some ideas, and has some good numbers to kind of back up what he's talking about. The other place I want to send you guys to is going to be another local guy. His name is Vin. He's been doing some Twitch, like I guess interviews or podcast episodes, you might call it, talking about the game. Random's Thoughts, I think the exact name of it is, for both Vector Sigma and then for what we just talked about for Vin's site. We'll link them in the description below. Thank you guys for listening. I wish you guys luck in building that community. If you have any questions, please feel free, message me, whether here, whether on the Facebook group. My name is Brian Allen there. Like our Wreck and Rule Facebook page. We have some more cool stuff coming out. Till all are one.